Okay, welcome back. So now we've been talking about gluing the formers to the upper and the lower keels, and that's K-E-E-L-S, just like the keel of a ship. The keel is sort of the backbone of a ship, and the keels in an aircraft are kind of the backbone of the aircraft. And the formers are a little bit like the rib cage. So if you think of a backbone and a rib cage, that would pretty well equate to the keels and the formers. So let's take a look at our next step, which is going to be attaching all of the formers to the keel. So we're going to switch scenes, and you can see here we have the formers, the first one, the second one, the third one, and the fourth one that are going to go in positions 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then let's look at the next section. If we keep going back, you're going to see the other formers that are also going to be glued to those keels. While we're looking at the keels, let's take a look at this keel that runs right along there. It's not attached to anything, but you are going to glue it together at where you see this joint, and you are going to attach it to the sides of the aircraft, okay, of the fuselage. So let's switch back to the other view. All of the formers are attached here to the lower keel and the upper keel. And this keel that runs along there will be attached to each one of those formers, so it will end up running along here. Now, once we've attached this keel, the one I'm showing you right there with that kind of looks like a bullseye. Once we have attached that to all of these formers, we are going to unpin this piece of the aircraft, and we're going to use probably a dull knife, like a regular knife that you would eat dinner with. It's not terribly sharp, and you're going to kind of stick it under the keels and try to pull them up. Once you've pulled out all the pins, stick it under the keel and try to pull them up from the wax paper. If you tear the wax paper a little bit, don't worry about it, because you're going to be using more wax paper later. But unpin it, and then take this side off, and then you're going to turn that kind of over and put the other sides, the other formers, on the other side of these formers. So you're going to end up creating what's going to be the sort of the backbone with the different ribs. You're going to first have the ribs on one side, and then you're going to put the ribs on the other side, and then you're going to build another one of these keels. So you're going to end up with keels on both sides and keels on the top and the bottom. Okay? Now, how are you going to remember the order in which you're going to do all of this? Well, it's all right down here, and it goes through step by step by step and explains the order in which you're going to do that. I'll see if we can zoom in here a little bit. No, we can't zoom. But this will give you a chance to, when you get your kit, read through the instructions. Start at the beginning, read all the way through. You'll probably stumble across some words and you're going to wonder, what on earth is that? Go look around the instructions for that word again, and you'll probably find it. I found the instructions very easy to follow. There were a couple of places which were a little bit tricky, which I'll go over when we get to it, but most of it is pretty easy to follow. Okay, I've zoomed in a little bit. You can see a little bit better where the different formers are attached to the keel. You can see this long piece called the side keel, which once it's stuck on the model is right along here. You're going to put formers on the other side, and once you've done that, you're then going to put another side keel on the other side. So you're going to have constructed the entire fuselage with an upper keel, a lower keel, and two side keels. And what's holding it all together are the formers. Now, I've scrolled down a little bit, and you can see what it's going to look like probably on the second weekend that you're working on your model. This is pretty far along. But what's nice about it is it shows it to you in 3 dimensions. And it's pretty easy looking at this drawing to figure out where everything goes, which is a little bit different than looking at the drawings that are on your plans where you're going to pin things. So let's switch over to that drawing. And you can see here, it's not a 3-dimensional view. It's a 2-dimensional view. And there's nothing wrong with a 2-dimensional view, except it's just not as realistic looking. But it's certainly easier to read when it comes to all of the measurements. So the question is, how do we switch between these 2 views of the model? One is sort of a flat view, the one we're looking at right here. It's a nice flat view, and it is absolutely the same size as all the balsa wood pieces. So it's very easy to work with this. The other view is this really nice 3-dimensional view, which shows you in kind of the way we think of looking at life, where you feel as though you could reach into the drawing and pick it up with your hand. How do we translate? How do we jump back and forth between these two? Well, I'm going to show you in another video coming up how to move from a 3-dimensional view to a 2-dimensional view. And then I'm going to have you try to do a couple of drawings yourself where you move between 2 dimensions, flat piece of paper, and 3 dimensions, which looks kind of lifelike. So we will go over those in the next video. So thank you for watching so far. I hope things are going well for you this week, and meet you in the next video. Bye-bye.